I'm tying up the last streamer in the Rangeley Favorite series from the Hilliard book on the Carrie Stevens flies. This is the Rangeley Favorite number 3. Now in the number 1 and number 2, they're essentially the same fly. The body's the same, the belly's the same, and the throat's the same. The difference is the wings. And the number 1 just has 2 hackles, 1 on each side. The number 2 has 2 hackles, 2 gray hackles on one side and the other side. Number 3 has the same 2 hackles, plus it has a white or a gray shoulder here of chicken breast feather. That's the only difference between these. So I will refer you to the first video on the Rangeley Favorite number 1 if you want to see how the body's all done, because in this one I'm just going to start off with the body, the belly, and the throat already applied. And all we're going to do is just tie in the wings, but I'll talk about those because for this one, I actually prepped these, meaning not only did I get them resized and everything and get them prepped that way, but I glued them together so that it's easier to tie those in. You can even see some of that rubber cement right there. So that's the Rangeley Favorite number 3. I'll get started tying. As I mentioned in the introduction, this Rangeley Favorite number 3, similar to the video I did for the Rangeley Favorite number 2, I already have the body all done on this. So the body is a tinsel body. I've already applied that. I have the underbelly, I should say the belly actually, of the white bucktail. And that's just some regular old white bucktail, as well as the throat. Now the throat, you could use some schlappen or strong rooster if you want to. I just used, these are the same feathers that I used for the wing, which are a whiting saddle. There's a whiting cape actually in a gray color. I just used some of the longer barbs down here at the bottom that aren't going to be utilized for the wing as the throat. And then the shoulder, because that's the difference with this, the Rangeley Favorite number 1 has just 2 gray hackles. There's 1 hackle on the right side and 1 on the left side. And that video, if you want to take a look at that video, there'll be a link in the description down below, and also up in the corner of this video that I show you how I put the body on, the belly, and the throat. So all of that's done up to this point. The Rangeley Favorite number 2 is the exact same, except for the wing has 2 hackles on each side. And this one has 2 hackles on each side, plus either a white or gray chicken breast feather as a shoulder. There's no point in me doing the whole fly and everything for you. I can just do the body and everything and to this point, and then I'm just going to tie in the wing. Makes the video a little bit quicker. Like I said, you can always go to the Rangeley Favorite number 1. You want to see, if you're new to these things, and you want to see how I put the body and everything else together for that. Now, my thread on all of these Rangeley Favorites, the heads are just black thread. So I'm using a Danville 70 Denier in black. And I'm just going to reattach that thread and then trim away the excess. Now the wing on this for the number 1 and the number 2, I did not glue those together. A lot of her wings will have 2 hackles on them like this. There's 2 hackles there and then a shoulder, and almost all of her streamers also have a cheek of jungle cock here, but none of these do. And these are glued together. The 2 underlying gray hackles are glued together with some rubber cement, and then the shoulder is also glued together on top. Just makes tying in the wings a lot easier if you've already prepped these that way. And if I had a cheek of jungle cock on there, it'd be even easier to have that in place, and then I can just tie the whole wing on right where it needs to go here, and then do the other one. The first two videos, the Rangeley number 1 and the Rangeley number 2, I did not glue these together because it's just as easy to prep those, meaning get them the right length and everything, and just tie those in just together or all at the same time. So I have these two wings, like I said, that are 2 hackles plus the white shoulder. And I went with the white on this just so that it would add some contrast to this, especially for the video. You'd be able to see it better. The gray that I would use is almost the same gray as these, and it would be a little harder to distinguish it. So I'm going to take this as my first wing. I'm going to tie into the left side here. I'm going to center that so that the base of the wing is about in the center of the head. And I'm going to start to wrap that in. And actually wrap over the base of the barbs of that a little bit. You'll notice that this is on the kind of on the top, but on my side of the top space because of these. This is a Partridge CS5 in, yeah, it's a CS5 in a number 4. It's a longer shanked hook, but it has the return loop on the eye, so you end up with kind of a flat platform up here to tie your wings in. So this is not just right in the middle on top, it's on top towards my side. And then the rest of the wing is just going down lateral down the sides. I'll place the other one up here and make certain that my tips are even. And again, I've pre-prepped these so that when I tie these in, the base is going to be in the same spot and the tips are all going to be even. This will go on top right next to the left wing that I tied in, a few wraps to secure that, and then I can take a look. What I'm looking for is for it to be nice and vertical on the fly overall and not cocked to one side or the other. And then I want the wing to just sweep down the sides. The shoulder right here is going to kind of blend into the throat, kind of cover up the belly a little bit on both sides. Once that is correct, I will trim away the rest of the rachis here, getting that down towards the eye. And now I'll run my thread down behind the eye of the hook, and I will start to wrap thread around behind the eye of the hook, slowly building that up to get on top of the butt ends of those wings, and then taper all of this down just to give it a nice smooth transition. That's the whole point of the head. It's not just to secure the materials in, but especially on these streamers, you want to make certain you're getting kind of a nice transition from the broader wings or the broader sides of the fly on down to the eye of the hook. Taking a little care here to make certain I'm covering up any white underneath from the hackles. You just want it to be a nice uniform black. And once I have that the right shape I want, and I have everything covered up well, I'll put in my whip finish. You want to take some care with your thread wraps here. You don't have to put a whole lot on there. The tendency for a lot of people is to pile on a lot of thread wraps, but you just want to put on enough to cover things up, get that transition, and then do your whip finish. Unless you're going to paint some eyes or something on these heads, this one in particular is not one that had eyes painted on it, but there are some streamer flies similar to this that other creators have made where they will make it a little bit rounder head to it, and then they'll paint, a white dot with a black center, like a pupil and an eye on the streamer. So with my whip finish done, I'm going to put some head cement on this. This is just some fly tight. It's a thin head cement, alcohol-based head cement that I put on here. I'll come back and I'll put 2 coats of a clear lacquer on there to just help reinforce the thread wraps a little bit. Doesn't have to be a nice glossy head. You just want to reinforce those thread wraps a little bit. That is the Rangeley Favorite number 3. As I had mentioned in the first video, the Rangeley Favorite number 1, that video I mentioned that the Rangeley Favorite flies are considered to be kind of the predecessors of the Gray Ghost. And they're an interesting fly to look at from the standpoint of how it's created, and then the evolution of the wings going from just 2 hackles to 4 with the shoulder. And then you can see the next evolution would be 4 with the shoulder and then a jungle cock eye. And the Gray Ghost has a silver pheasant shoulder in it, so you can see replacing this white with that, then you get the white and the black and the silver pheasant that has a nice contrast. So it's just kind of interesting. It was fun to do these simply to kind of show maybe some of the methodology of how some of these flies were created and the thought process behind them and the development. But that is the Rangeley Favorite number 3. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.